Now, what if I told you that the most dangerous narcissists in your life aren't the loud, chest-thumping bullies? They're the sweet, talking women who smile while they destroy you from the inside out? You heard me right. We're not talking about the guy at the office who won't shut up about his golf score or the loudmouth at the party who has to be the center of attention. No, I'm talking about something far more subtle and, frankly, a whole lot more destructive. I'm talking about the female narcissist. Let's get straight to it. Society has this picture-perfect image of women, doesn't there? Supposed to be the nurturers, the caregivers, the ones who smooth things over and make everyone feel good. And that's exactly the weapon the female narcissist uses against you. She wraps herself in this cloak of sweetness, of empathy, of being your biggest cheerleader, all while she's sharpening the knife behind her back. She has mastered the art of the mask. She knows that if she plays the part of the supportive friend, the devoted partner, or the caring mother, nobody will ever suspect the cold, calculating, and deeply insecure person pulling the strings underneath. She weaponizes the very expectation of kindness to fly completely under the radar. Hey folks, Dr. Phil here. If you haven't subscribed to Phil in the Blanks yet, do it now so you don't miss these eye-opening truths that could save your sanity. I'm doing this series because I've heard from so many of you, and I want you to have the tools to protect yourselves. I remember a guest we had on the show, a woman named Carol. She came on because she was at her wit's end with her best friend, Susan. On the surface, Susan was perfect. She was the first one there with a casserole when Carol's mom got sick. She threw Carol the most amazing baby shower, and she always had the right words of encouragement. But Carol felt like she was going crazy. Little things were happening. A promotion she was up for at work mysteriously fell through after Susan had a friendly chat with her boss. A guy Carol was excited about suddenly ghosted her after Susan warned him about how emotionally fragile Carol was. Every time Carol had a win, Susan would celebrate it, but then a week later, Carol's world would crumble in some small, inexplicable way. Carol thought Susan was just a little dramatic, maybe a bit of a gossip. She never, in a million years, suspected that her best friend was systematically and with surgical precision tearing her down. Susan was a covert female narcissist, and her mission was to ensure that no one, especially not her best friend, ever outshone her. By the time we laid it all out for Carol, she was in shock. But you could see the light bulb go on. It was a tough pill to swallow, but it was the truth. And that's what we have to get our heads around here. Female narcissism just doesn't look the same as the male version. You're not dealing with the same in-your-face aggression or the overt look-at-me grandiosity. It's a different kind of warfare. It's emotional warfare. It's manipulation, it's sabotage disguised as concern, it's gaslighting delivered with a sympathetic smile. They are masters of passive aggression, masters of playing the victim, and masters of turning your own support system against you without anyone ever seeing their fingerprints. They will praise you to your face and poison the well behind your back. They collect your secrets like ammunition and use your vulnerabilities as a roadmap to your destruction. Sound familiar? Drop a comment below. What's the sneakiest thing a woman has ever done to sabotage you while pretending to be your friend? I want to hear from you because I guarantee you are not alone in this. There are millions of people out there feeling just like Carol did, confused, isolated, and doubting their own reality because of a master manipulator in their lives. You have to understand these aren't just mean girls who never grew up. This is a serious personality pattern rooted in a profound lack of empathy, an insatiable need for admiration, and a terrifyingly fragile ego that can't stand to see anyone else succeed. They don't have friends, they have audiences, and they have targets. And if you're in their inner circle, you're one or the other, and sometimes you're both, so get ready. We're diving deep into 5 traits that'll make you go, holy cow, that's exactly what she does. Buckle up, because this is going to be a ride. You need to know what you're looking for, because once you see the game, you can stop playing by their rules. And trust me, you don't want to be a pawn in their game. Listen up. You guys, female narcissists don't just want attention, they're addicted to it like junkies need their next fix. I'm not exaggerating. For them, attention isn't a preference, it's oxygen. It's the fuel that keeps their fragile ego running, and without a constant supply, they start to fall apart. So, what does this look like in the real world? It's the friend who, when you start talking about a problem you're having at work, somehow hijacks the conversation within 30 seconds to be about her much bigger, much more dramatic problem. You could say, "My boss was a little short with me today," and she'll come back, "Will, that's nothing. My boss is trying to get me fired. My coworker is stealing my ideas, and I think the whole department is conspiring against me." See what happened there? Your legitimate concern was just a launching pad for her to take center stage. It's the constant, exhausting fishing for compliments. She'll post a picture of herself looking like a supermodel with the caption, "Ugh, I look so tired and gross today." She doesn't believe that for a second. It's a calculated move designed to get a flood of comments saying, "No, you look amazing. You're gorgeous." It's a manipulation, plain and simple. She's feeding her addiction. And in today's world, social media is their ultimate playground. It's a 24/7 all-you-can-eat buffet of validation. Her entire online presence is a carefully curated performance. It's the endless stream of selfies. The check ends at fancy places, the posts that are thinly veiled brags about her wonderful life, her perfect children, or her amazing partner. She's not sharing her life, she's marketing it. Every like, every follow, every heart emoji is a little hit of the drug she needs to feel like she matters. Her self-worth isn't internal, it's outsourced to the opinions of strangers on the internet. We had a woman on the show whose daughter was getting married. A beautiful, happy occasion, right? Not for this mother. On the wedding day, as her daughter was about to walk down the aisle, the mother faked a dizzy spell. I'm talking full on hand to the forehead, "I think I'm going to faint" drama. The wedding was delayed for 20 minutes while everyone rushed to her side, fanning her and getting her water. The focus in that critical moment was ripped away from the bride and placed squarely on her. Later, during the reception, when the father of the bride was giving a heartfelt toast, she interrupted him to announce that she had a terrible migraine and needed her husband to take her home immediately. She couldn't stand it. She couldn't stand one single day where she wasn't the star of the show, not even for her own daughter's wedding. That's not a headache, folks. That's a pathological need for attention. Now, you might be thinking, "Dr. Phil, that just sounds incredibly insecure." And you'd be 100% right. Here's the psychology behind it underneath all that grandstanding and "look at me" behavior as a terrified little kid who feels worthless. The grandiosity is a mask. The constant demand for attention is a desperate attempt to fill a black hole of emptiness inside them. They have no stable internal sense of self-worth, so they have to get it from the outside. Your praise, your admiration, your focus, that's their lifeline. It's the only thing that reassures them that they exist and that they have value, but because it's external, it never lasts. The high from one compliment wears off, and they immediately need another. It's a vicious, never-ending cycle. So, what are the warning signs for you? How do you know you're dealing with an attention addict? Pay close attention to how she reacts when she doesn't get the attention she craves. That's when the mask slips. If you're in a group and the conversation shifts away from her, does she start to sulk? Does she get quiet and pouty, making sure everyone notices her bad mood? That's a manipulation to get you all to ask, "What's wrong?" and bring the focus back to her. Or maybe she gets passive-aggressive. You get a promotion and she says, "Oh, that's great," but with a tone that makes it clear she's not happy. Then, for the next week, she makes little digs about how you're always so busy now, or must think you're too good for your old friends. She's punishing you for having a moment in the spotlight that wasn't hers. And in the most extreme cases, you'll see rage. If you challenge her or call her out on her behavior, she will lash out with a fury that is absolutely terrifying because you have threatened her supply, You have poked a hole in the fragile balloon of her ego, and she will come at you with everything she's got to protect it. This need for attention is the foundation of the female narcissist personality. It drives everything she does. But here's where it gets really twisted. They don't just want your attention, they want to control how you see reality. Now we get into the really insidious stuff, the kind of psychological warfare that can make you question your own sanity. Trust me on this, female narcissists can twist reality so skillfully, they'll have you questioning your own memories, your own perceptions, and even your own worth. Their favorite sport isn't tennis or golf, it's gaslighting. Now, you hear that term gaslighting thrown around a lot, but I want you to understand what it really is. It's not just lying, it's a malicious, calculated form of psychological manipulation designed to make you feel like you're losing your mind. It's when she does or says something hurtful, and when you confront her, she looks at you with wide, innocent eyes and says, "I never said that. You must be imagining things." Or, "You're being way too sensitive."
I was just joking.
It's a crazy making dance of deny, deflect, and project. She denies what happened, deflects by changing the subject or questioning your memory, and then projects the problem onto you. By the time you get through getting gaslit by a narcissist, you're going to be doubting your own damn name. And here's her signature move, the one she's perfected since she was a little girl playing the victim. This is the art of turning any and every confrontation into a pity party where she is the guest of honor. You could catch her red-handed with undeniable proof of her wrongdoing, and within minutes you will be the one apologizing. How does she do it? She'll burst into tears, her voice trembling as she tells you how hurt she is that you would even think such a thing of her. She'll accuse you of being cruel, of always seeing the worst in her when all she ever does is try to help. If the tears don't work, she'll hit you with the silent treatment. She'll withdraw emotionally, refusing to speak to you for days, making you feel the chilling weight of her disapproval until you come crawling back, desperate to make things right, even though you did nothing wrong. Let me give you a classic example. We had a young woman on the show, let's call her Maria, who worked in a marketing firm. She had a coworker, Jennifer, a classic female narcissist. Maria worked for weeks on a huge project proposal. The night before the big presentation, she shared her slides with Jennifer for a final look. The next day, Maria walks into the boardroom and there's Jennifer presenting Maria's entire project as her own with a few minor tweaks. Maria was stunned. After the meeting, she pulled Jennifer aside and said, "Jennifer, that was my project. Those were my ideas, my slides." Now, a normal person might get defensive, but they'd know they were caught. Not Jennifer. Her face crumpled. Tears welled up in her eyes. "Maria, I can't believe you're accusing me of this," she whispered, loud enough for others to hear. "I thought we were a team."
I was just trying to help you.
"I stayed up all night refining our ideas because I want us both to succeed. I can't believe you're being so competitive and ungrateful." Then she ran to the boss's office, sobbing about how Maria had attacked her and created a hostile work environment. The boss, who only saw a distraught employee, told Maria she needed to be more of a team player. Maria was left standing there, not only without credit for her work, but now she was the villain. She felt confused, angry, and completely alone. That is gaslighting in action. And let's talk about the damage this does. This isn't just a simple disagreement. This is psychological abuse, and it messes with your head in the worst way. It chips away at your confidence piece by piece. You start to second guess everything. Did she really say that? Or am I remembering it wrong? Am I really being too sensitive? Am I the one who's unreasonable? You live in a constant state of confusion, walking on eggshells, afraid to trust your own judgment because it's been invalidated so many times. It leads to crippling self-doubt and anxiety. You start to feel like you're the one who's crazy, the one who's always causing problems. Here's the insight you need to grab onto. They're rewriting the script of your life in real time, and you're left wondering if you're the one with the problem. They are the producers, directors, and stars of their own movie, and you are just an extra. If you don't stick to the script they've written for you, they won't just fire you, they'll edit you out of the movie altogether and convince everyone you were never even there. It's a brutal, soul-crushing tactic designed to isolate you and maintain their control. They need to control the narrative, and if your version of reality contradicts theirs, they will go to war to discredit you and preserve their own flawless self-image. And if you think that's bad, wait till you see how they handle other women. All right, let's cut right to the chase. If you want to understand the social world of a female narcissist, you need to get one thing straight, and I mean crystal clear. Female narcissists don't have female friends. They have targets, rivals, and temporary allies. That's it. That's the entire list. The idea of a genuine, supportive, give and take friendship with another woman is completely foreign to them because in their world, every other woman is a potential threat. You have to understand their entire existence is a competition for attention, for admiration, for status, for the best job, the best man, the most likes on Instagram. Life is a zero-sum game to them. If another woman is winning, that means by default she is losing, and she cannot stand to lose. So she can't be genuinely happy for your success. She can't celebrate your new relationship or your promotion at work. She may go through the motions. She may throw you a party and give the best toast, but behind that smiling mask she is seething. Your happiness is a direct, personal insult to her ego. It's a spotlight shining on you that she believes belongs to her, and she will do whatever it takes to get it back. This is where the sabotage comes in, and it is almost never overt. It's a campaign of 1,000 tiny cuts. It's spreading a vicious rumor under the guise of concern. She'll pull another friend aside and say, with a worried look on her face, "I'm so worried about Sarah. I heard she and her husband are having serious problems. I just hope she's okay." And just like that, the poison is out there. It's undermining your achievements with a backhanded compliment.
You got engaged! I am so thrilled for you!
He seems so great. It's amazing you were able to get him to commit. The compliment is just the sugar coating on a poison pill of doubt. And let me tell you, when it comes to relationships, they are absolutely ruthless. A female narcissist will have no problem flirting with your husband right in front of you, or worse, making a move on your boyfriend behind your back. It's not even always about wanting a man. It's about the power. It's about proving to herself that she can take him if she wants to. Your pain is just collateral damage in her twisted game of validating her own desirability. This is the mean girl syndrome from high school, but we're not in high school anymore. This is the adult version, and it's 100 times more destructive. They are masters at creating cliques and social hierarchies with themselves as the queen bee. They surround themselves with people who are useful to them, people who will prop up their ego. And they use these people, what we call flying monkeys, to do their dirty work. They'll feed information to these allies, who then spread the gossip and force the social isolation of a target and report back. The narcissist gets to keep her hands clean while her social army dismantles your reputation and your support system. Nowhere is this warfare more intense than in the workplace. An office is a perfect battleground for a female narcissist. It's a closed system with a clear hierarchy and measurable success. Remember Maria and Jennifer from the last chapter. That wasn't a one-off. That's standard operating procedure. They will steal your ideas, take credit for your work, and then play the victim when you call them on it. They will subtly turn your boss against you over weeks and months, making little comments here and there about your lack of commitment or how you seem stressed until your boss's perception of you is completely poisoned and you have no idea why. I had a client, a woman named Lisa, whose best friend of 15 years, Chloe, was her maid of honor. Lisa was deliriously happy, engaged to a man she adored. Chloe seemed happy for her too. She planned the bridal shower, helped pick out the dress, everything a best friend should do. But behind the scenes, Chloe was executing a sabotage campaign with military precision. She would tell Lisa's fiancé, Mark, things like, "I'm so glad Lisa found you. She's had such a hard time with her anxiety, and she has a tendency to get a little possessive." You're just so patient with her. She told Lisa's parents that Mark seemed a little controlling and that she was worried Lisa was losing herself in the relationship. She planted these little seeds of doubt everywhere. By the time the wedding was a month away, Mark was having second thoughts, Lisa was a nervous wreck, and her family was questioning the whole thing. The engagement fell apart. And who was there to pick up the pieces? Chloe, of course, holding Lisa while she cried, telling her she deserved better, all the while secretly savoring her victory. She couldn't stand to see Lisa have the happiness she felt she deserved. And that brings us to the key insight, the hard truth you have to swallow. They'd rather burn the whole house down than let another woman shine brighter. Their envy is not a passing feeling, it is a consuming, corrosive force. Your light doesn't just illuminate their insecurities, it feels like it's trying to extinguish them. And they will stop at nothing to put your light out. But the competition isn't just about success, it's about something much more primal. Now we need to talk about one of the most powerful and destructive weapons in the female narcissist's arsenal. Let me tell you something, female narcissists weaponize their sexuality in ways that'll make your head spin. This isn't about confidence or being comfortable in your own skin. This is about using sex appeal like a loaded gun, pointed at whoever can give them what they want. For the female narcissist, seduction is not an act of intimacy, it's an act of conquest. It's a tool for manipulation and control. You'll see it in the way she dresses, always just a little too provocatively for the occasion, making sure all eyes are on her. You'll see it in the way she flirts. It's not playful, it's predatory. She'll lock eyes with you, touch your arm, lean in close, making you feel like you're the only person in the world. But it's all a performance. She's a chameleon, becoming whatever version of herself she thinks you want to see, all to get her hooks into you. She uses her physical appeal to bypass your logic and go straight for your ego, making you feel desired, special, and powerful. And once you're hooked on that feeling, she owns you. This is where you see the most flagrant and painful boundary violations. A female narcissist gets a special kind of thrill from crossing lines that other people respect. She will shamelessly flirt with her best friend's husband at a dinner party, making suggestive comments and laughing just a little too loudly at his jokes, all while her friend is sitting right there. She does it to create chaos, to test loyalties, and to send a clear message. No one is off limits to me. I can take what I want when I want. She is the master of creating love triangles. Why? Because being the object of desire for two different people is the ultimate power trip. It gives her a double dose of the attention she craves and puts her in complete control. She'll complain to one man about the other, securing his sympathy and making him feel like her protector, all while doing the exact same thing with the other guy. She thrives on the drama, the jealousy, and the conflict because it all revolves around her. And let's be clear, this isn't just for sport, it's often for profit. The female narcissist is an expert at financial exploitation. She views relationships as transactions. Her beauty, her charm, and her sexuality are her currency, and she uses them to acquire money, status, and resources. She's the woman who always seems to have men paying her rent, buying her cars, and funding her lavish lifestyle. She makes it seem like these men are just generous, but it's a calculated strategy. She dangles the promise of affection and sex as a reward for their financial support, keeping them on the hook with just enough attention to make them think they have a chance, all while she's sizing up her next, more profitable target. So why do they do it? What is the power play here? It's not about love. It's not even about sex. It's about control. It's about the intoxicating high of knowing they have power over someone, the ability to make someone desire them, to make them do things they wouldn't normally do, is the ultimate validation of their superiority. It proves to them that they are special, that they are irresistible, and that the normal rules of conduct don't apply to them. I worked with a family that was absolutely torn apart by a woman like this. She started dating one of two brothers. She was charming, beautiful, and everyone loved her. But soon she started subtly flirting with the other brother. She'd send him late-night texts, just to talk and tell him things about her relationship with his brother, making it seem like she was unhappy and misunderstood. She created a rift between two brothers who had been inseparable their whole lives. It ended with a physical fight, a broken family, and her walking away from both of them. Did she love either of them? No. She loved the power she had to destroy them. She fed on the drama, and once the house was in ashes, she moved on, completely unscathed, to find her next victim. And that's the reality check you have to face. They don't care about the collateral damage. Your pain is their pleasure. They don't feel guilt or remorse for the families they break up, the friendships they destroy, or the hearts they break. In their mind, if you were foolish enough to fall for their act, you deserve what you get. Your suffering is just another testament to their power, another notch on their belt. And speaking of boundaries, they don't just cross them, they obliterate them. All right, let's pull back the curtain on the final and maybe the most infuriating trait of the female narcissist. I want you to listen to me and listen good. Female narcissists don't understand the word no. To them, your boundaries are just suggestions they ignore. They are not requests they consider. They are obstacles they will plow through without a second thought. They operate under a simple toxic philosophy. What's yours is hers, and what's hers is hers. Period. This isn't just about being a little pushy or overbearing. This is a fundamental lack of respect for you as a separate human being. In their mind, you don't have a right to privacy, personal space, or even your own thoughts and feelings if they conflict with what she wants. She sees you as an extension of herself, and your life as a resource for her to use as she pleases. What does this invasion look like? It starts with the little things. It's the friend who comes over and helps herself to the food in your fridge without asking. It's the sister who borrows your favorite sweater from your closet and forgets to give it back. But it escalates, and it escalates quickly. This is the roommate who reads your private journal or goes through your text messages when you're in the shower. When you confront her, she'll gaslight you, of course. I was just looking for a pen. Why are you so paranoid? You must have something to hide. She flips it around to make you the bad guy for wanting a basic level of privacy. She will insert herself into every corner of your life. Got a problem with your mother, she's on the phone with your mom, just trying to help smooth things over and making everything 10 times worse. Having a private disagreement with your spouse. She's suddenly your unsolicited marriage counselor, giving advice and taking sides, gathering information she can use later. Your life is her soap opera, and she's appointed herself the head writer. This all stems from a staggering sense of entitlement. These women genuinely believe they deserve special treatment and unlimited access to everything and everyone. The rules don't apply to them because they see themselves as superior. They believe they have a right to your time, your energy, your money, and your emotional space. Your boundaries are not a wall to them, they are a challenge. And the most damaging violations are the emotional ones. A female narcissist will violate your mental space without a shred of guilt. She will dump all of her emotional baggage on you at all hours of the day, expecting you to be her 24/7 therapist. But the moment you need to talk about your problems, she's suddenly too busy, or she'll dismiss your feelings as unimportant. She uses guilt like a weapon. If you can't drop everything to help her with her latest manufactured crisis, you're selfish and unsupportive. She uses emotional blackmail, threatening to fall apart or harm herself if you don't do what she wants, making you feel responsible for her well-being. The financial boundaries are just as non-existent. She's the friend who is always short on cash and needs to borrow $20, which you both know you'll never see again. She'll exploit your generosity at every turn, expecting you to pay for dinners, drinks, and vacations because she has it so much harder than you do. She will take credit for your work, use your connections, and leverage your resources for her own gain, all while seeing it as her due. We had a woman on the show whose sister was a classic boundary destroyer. After losing her apartment, the sister, let's call her Tina, asked if she could stay with our guest Karen for just a couple of weeks. 6 months later, Tina was still there. She had taken over the guest room, wore Karen's clothes, ate her food, and never contributed a dime to the bills. She would invite her own friends over without asking, leaving Karen to clean up the mess. When Karen finally got up the courage to say, "Tina, we need to talk about you finding your own place," Tina burst into tears. She accused Karen of being a terrible sister, of trying to kick her out onto the street when she was at her lowest point. She called their parents, sobbing about how cruel Karen was being. Tina was a parasite, and she was draining the life out of her sister emotionally and financially. She had moved into Karen's life and was consuming it from the inside out. And that is the aftermath of living with a boundary destroyer. You are left feeling used, confused, and completely, utterly drained. It's like being hollowed out. Your energy is gone, your resources are depleted, and your sense of self is eroded. You start to feel like a supporting character in your own life, a resource to be plundered rather than a person to be respected. The constant violations leave you in a state of perpetual anxiety, never knowing when the next line will be crossed. Now that you know what you're dealing with, let's talk about protecting yourself. All right, we've been through the fire. We've dissected the female narcissist, we've exposed her playbook, and now you see her for who she really is. But listen to me now, this is the most important part. You ain't helpless here, folks. Once you see the game, you can stop playing by their rules. Knowledge is power, and you are about to be very, very powerful. This is your defense strategy. This is how you spot them, stop them, and survive the emotional carnage they leave behind. So where do we start? You start by trusting your gut. That little voice in the back of your head, that knot in your stomach you get when you're around her. That's your built-in narcissist detector, and you need to start listening to it. You have to ask yourself the hard questions. Does every single conversation somehow become about her? Do you feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells, doubting your own memory of what was said or done? Is she a master at playing the victim, making you feel guilty for things that were her fault? Think about it. When you succeed, is she genuinely happy for you? Or does she deliver those backhanded compliments that feel more like an insult? Does she use her sexuality to create drama and cross lines that shouldn't be crossed? And maybe the biggest one of all, does she respect the word no? Or does she treat your life, your space, and your things like they're her own personal property? If you're nodding your head right now, you're not being paranoid, you're being perceptive. Once you spot the game, it's time to stop playing. And that starts with enforcing some serious boundaries. A boundary without a consequence is just a suggestion, and we already know she ignores those. You have to learn to say no and mean it. And I don't mean you justify, argue, defend, or explain yourself. You just say, "I'm sorry, but I can't do that," or "that doesn't work for me." Heck, just a simple "now" is a complete sentence. And when she pushes, and trust me, she will push, you hold that line and introduce the consequence. You say, "I've already answered that. If you continue to bring it up, I'm going to have to end this conversation." And then you actually do it. You hang up the phone. You walk away. You have to be immediate and consistent, or it means nothing. Here's another powerful tool for your toolbox. I call it the gray rock method. Narcissists are addicted to drama. It's their fuel. You need to become as boring as a gray rock. When she comes at you with gossip and tries to get a reaction, you give her nothing. You give short, uninteresting answers. You don't share your feelings. You don't take the bait. Imagine her saying, "I can't believe what so-and-so said about you." Instead of getting sucked in, you just say, "I see. When she pushes, aren't you upset?" You just say, "I'll handle it." You become a boring, unresponsive wall. An addict doesn't hang around where there's no supply. Eventually, she'll get bored and go find her drama fix somewhere else. Now, this next part is critical, especially if you're dealing with this at work or in a co-parenting situation. You have to document everything. Keep a log. Save the manipulative texts and emails. If there are witnesses, make a note of who was there. This isn't about being petty. This is about protecting yourself from the gaslighting that you know is coming. When she tries to twist the story, you'll have a factual record of what actually happened. It's your shield. And let me be clear, you cannot do this alone. You absolutely must build your support system, what I call your truth squad. These are the people who knew you before she came along, the people who see the real you, your family, your true friends. You have to confide in them and let them know what's been going on. Because when the narcissist starts her smear campaign against you, your truth squad will be the firewall that protects your reputation because they know your character. They won't fall for her lies. Finally, let's talk about your recovery. Escaping a narcissist is like detoxing from a drug. You have to heal from the emotional damage. This means you should seriously consider therapy with someone who understands this kind of abuse. It means practicing radical self-care, reconnecting with hobbies, spending time in nature, doing things that make you feel good. You have to rebuild your confidence one day at a time. Start a journal and write down your good qualities, your accomplishments. You have to remind yourself of who you are outside of her toxic influence. And that brings me to the final, most important truth I'm going to tell you today. Remember, their opinion of you is not your reality. You know who you are. You are not too sensitive or crazy or ungrateful. You are a person who was targeted by a master manipulator. So hit that subscribe button. Share this with someone who needs it, because you're not crazy. You're not weak, and you sure as hell ain't going to let them win, because now you know.